stock traders, and welcome back to Stock Traders Talk Radio. I'm your host, Stock Sumo. Thanks for joining us on this magnificent Monday, June 18th. You know what time it is, folks. It's time to top off your cup of coffee here with Stock Traders Talk Radio as we look through the markets. So open up your charts, turn on those scanners, and fire up your trading accounts. Joining us on this morning's program, we have Haas.
Good morning, Stock Sumo. What's up, buddy? How's your weekend?
Oh, man, I'm doing great. I had a good weekend. Got to play a bunch of golf and spent some time with the old man for Father's Day. Hope everybody else out there enjoyed their Father's Day if you're a father. And if not, hope you got some good time to wish your dad a happy Father's Day or get him a good gift.
Yeah, me and my dad were playing a little bit of phone tag yesterday, so I didn't actually get a chance to talk to him, but it's all right. I'll talk to him today. If you're listening, Pa, happy belated Father's Day. You're making me jealous with all that golf talk, man.
Yeah, it's been good. It was nice to take my dad out golfing. He ended up beating me. I didn't have the best performance. I ended up shooting over a 50. I think I shot a 51. So not too excited about how I played, but it was a pleasure just to get out and spend some time with my dad.
Heck yeah, man.
Also joining us on this morning's program, we have Sifakia. Good morning, buddy.
Aloha, boys. Shakas all the way around. 51, eh?
Yeah, it was rough out there.
That sounds rough.
My short game.
If he's like, man, Sumo sucks at golf, man.
I mean, I didn't want to say that, but yeah, 51s were rough.
Did you guys watch the U.S. Open?
Nope.
Sadly, I didn't.
Oh, that was fun to watch. They had the 17-year-old that was leading it going into yesterday, I believe, or maybe the day before. The 17-year-old amateur was doing better than Tiger. Man, Tiger just totally fell apart yesterday. He wasn't doing too bad in the beginning of the tournament, but totally just fell apart and lost all the good stuff that he had going into the last day. He just crumbled. But the 17-year-old, he didn't do well either. I ended up watching it up until the end, and the last name is Simpson won it, but Jim Furyk was close. Jim Furyk kind of fell apart the last holes, and he was leading it for the past couple of days, but he ended up falling apart. But it was good nevertheless to watch. It was, man, tough conditions. The U.S. Open was on a tough course. I'm not sure exactly what course it was, but I know the first 6 holes are like a nightmare. And if you don't get off to a good start, then it's tough to keep your composure. But it was fun to watch. I enjoyed it.
And I wish I could have gotten a chance to watch some of that, but I had a busy work weekend, so what gotta do. But what's up, man?
What about the NBA Finals? Did you hear anything about last night's game?
Yeah, Miami won 91-85. So they took the 2-1 lead in the series. So your big favorite player, LeBron James, is sitting and smiling at you right now, bud.
And as far as hockey, where's the update on that? When do we got our next game?
Los Angeles Kings already took the Stanley Cup, bud. They won 4-1 in the series finale.
That goes to show you how much I pay attention to hockey.
Yeah, the Kings rolled through everybody. They definitely deserved it, though. They were kicking some ass in the playoffs, that's for sure.
All right, cool. Well, enough about sport talk. Why don't we just get into the action and talk about stocks? I'm not sure what you got it for us this morning, Haas, but
I'll let you know.
I'm just going to pass it over to you and let you run with it, bud. Take it away.
That sounds good, man. Well, I don't have a specific stock spotlight this morning. Rather, I have a few that I'm kind of keeping my eyes on early, in addition to some of the others that we mentioned later in the week last week. For sure, we got our eyes on BBDA again this morning, coming out of the gates. Had another big day on Friday after our mini morning spotlight. And as we mentioned in that spotlight, they're supposed to have some sort of big update from the company this week. Is the target date, but within the next week or two here on why the company doesn't need to dilute into the future here. So some sort of deal or arrangement that's going to be significantly positive for the company. So keep your eyes out for that news for BBDA and keep an eye on that stock in general. It touched the 001s a little bit on Friday, and if it breaks through that, it might have a little juice in it yet before that update comes out. But one stock that's kind of on my radar, kind of not on my radar, but I want to bring it up now because it likes to find a bottom at this 1 cent area over the recent past here. PTS Incorporated. This was, for a little while, this was a Myanmar. We mentioned Myanmar on the show a couple times. They're an investor relations firm. I believe they were the investor relations firm for PTSH for a little while there when it was basically a shell company. But they recently did a merger with this Navistar Logistics. I'm looking at pink sheets at overthecountermarkets.com right now. Let me scroll down a little bit so I can pull this up. Can't really see that. The business description, PTS Incorporated, their subsidiary Navistar Logistics, which is actually out of the United Kingdom, is an international logistics freight forwarding company with high-quality warehousing in London, Birmingham, Manchester, Newcastle, and at all ports and airports, and with North American subsidiaries Starbase Global Logistics. So they're definitely within the U.S., and also their main focus is international, but it's basically an international logistics company. They literally organize everything related to logistics. They do have a website. You can click on that link from overthecountermarkets.com. It talks a lot about all their different types of services. If you click on this little Navistar link, air freight, ocean freight, special projects, storage fulfillment. They basically organize everything related to the freight world. But anyways, the reason why I wanted to talk about this one specifically, if you look at the share structure here on pink sheets, they have an outstanding share count of just under 46 million shares, about 45.77 million shares. And that's very, very current. They're very good at getting their company information and disclosures out and staying current. Actually, they're not current. I would expect them to get current very soon. They've been releasing their financials and details and stuff like that, so which is very good to keep their shareholders informed. Nice small float of around 28 million shares. Their authorized share count is pretty high. But when we go and actually look at the recent press they've been putting out, they say they're not diluting. And sometimes companies say they're not diluting when they're actually diluting. But they seem to think that there's no toxic convertibles or anything like that out there outside of what they actually used when they completed this merger with this subsidiary Navistar Logistics within the last year or so here. So a real nice share structure for a stock trading around 1 cent, market cap just over $500,000. And especially with some of the news they just put out related to some of the revenues they might be bringing in the near future with some deals they've been making within the subsidiary Navistar Logistics. Just going over to DD Amanda real quick because I love to use DD Amanda always, just to get an idea of dollar volume on the stock for the last few months. That's the main tool that I use for that, and it's really easy to gauge what's been going on, any sort of dilution or anything like that. We'll probably take a look at the chart after this one too, so if Sumo or Siffy wants to pull that up and take a quick look at it. But as you can see, relatively low dollar volume most of the time. Every once in a while you'll get a $30,000 day or something like that. But for the most part, it's been hanging around this 1 to 2 cent range for quite a while. Every once in a while it'll dip a little bit below it on some low volume. Every once in a while it'll ramp up to that 2.5 cent mark on some relatively low volume as well. So just in general, really low dollar volumes traded every single day. It's been increasing a little bit every once in a while, a few days. So there might be some convertibles hitting from that merger completion or whatever, but nothing too significant. And I actually kind of like it if they keep the share structure relatively similar to what it is now around this 1 cent mark. So let's go check out some of the recent news on the iHub. On June 13th, 2012, last week, they put out some press related to their share price volatility and fluctuation statement. So every once in a while, when a company, the SEC or someone will hit up the company on, well, why is your share price so volatile? Well, the main reason with this one is because they have such a low share structure and such a low float. So there's not that many shares available at a specific ask price. So if someone buys some shares, it might go up pretty rapidly, but it also comes down pretty rapidly too. So keep that in mind. But, they just go through a description of what's been going on with the company and some of the rumors floating around, both positive and negative. Mr. John O'Brien said, on behalf of PTSH, the management, and our key personnel, we have been asked to make a public comment by many of PTSH shareholders regarding the share price volatility and fluctuation. We are no experts in this field, and this is our opinion only. They talk a lot about stuff, but prior to Navistar merger with PTSH, we were made aware that PTSH was an over-the-counter BV reporting company and was unable to keep that status due to its financial duress. So obviously downgraded on pink sheets. Now they're a pink limited information company as of right now. Let's see if we can find any other bits in this paragraph. We are mindful that the old PTSH shareholders invested in a medical software company, and that Navistar Logistics business model is as different as night and day from that MSC model. We cannot comment on what the ex-management did or did not do. So they have new management in place with the new merger. And we do not see how being a Monday morning quarterback can advance Navistar or PTSH positions today. PTSH and Navistar filed adequate disclosure documentation with over-the-counter markets. All that information in the report is current. So they're talking about that share structure and the business model on there. So they've moved from a medical software company to international logistics business model with a new merger. So complete change in business direction, new management, the whole works. But this management is basically trying to quell some of the fears from some of the things that past management did with the company. I also want this opportunity to address and quash various rumors, theories, and innuendos that have been presented to us here at PTSH. There is no debt conversion of any sort going on. That's what I just alluded to when we were looking at DD Amanda there. All the PTSH debts and obligations were settled and or resolved concurrent with the reverse split on March 2011 with the proceeds of the accredited investor. Our focus is entirely dedicated to running our logistics business and nothing else. I can say with definite clarity and conviction that the company is not engaged in any sort of dilution, toxic financing, or otherwise. So very positive there. Other than shares which were issued to Navistar for the merger with PTSH and to the accredited investor who assisted PTSH in its times of trouble last year before our merger, to the best of our knowledge and records, no other shares were issued in PTSH. We have been inundated with questions and suspicions that our prior M&A and IR firm, this is the Myanmar group that I mentioned, is selling shares, is listed for sale, and the speculation that they are going bankrupt and doing a fire sale. So basically they're quelling these rumors that Myanmar is going bankrupt and they have to sell all their shares in all these companies that they're doing work for at bargain prices, and they don't care what price they sell at. It's not true. To the best of our knowledge, according to corporate records, there are no shares issued to Myanmar Group, to them. There's nothing in our contract that prohibits them from making a sale of their divisions of our company in whole or in part. While they do have a large following, exit from retail IR services may have swayed some or caused concern to others. We see this as of no concern to the well-being of PTSH moving forward. And if you actually read any of the Myanmar emailers that go out into email inboxes, they're very positive with PTSH going forward. And as mentioned down here as well, they're actually still doing some consulting with PTSH as they carry through and finish up some of the things with this Navistar merger and the future direction of the company. So a very positive press release here for shareholders, quelling some of the fears and rumors about some of the toxic stuff going on or not going on, as stated in this press release. So very positive. And then later last week on June 15th, 2 days later, they released some revenue-related news. PTS Incorporated. PTS Inc., subsidiary of Navistar Global Logistics is finalizing expansion in the United Kingdom with a new client based in Aberdeen, Scotland, which is a major player in oil and gas industry. So some type of logistics work in the oil and gas industry, some sort of deal going on there here. This expansion will support the U.S. trade lands. More updates will be released in regards to these developments next week once the contract is signed. So now immediately we can expect more news this week related to this contract. This will be in excess of 4 million British pounds annual revenue for the UK company, whilst benefiting the USA offices. And as stated up here, that translates to about 6.3 million US dollars annually for this specific subsidiary, PTS Incorporated. And remember, we're sitting at a market cap of about 500,000 right now, around this penny mark. So 6.3 million US dollars in revenues is actually very, very significant. And it's just one of probably many deals to be announced in the very near future related to PTS Incorporated, especially if the share structure remains similar to what it is now. So very good stuff there for PTS Incorporated. And I believe that's just about everything I wanted to go over. I don't want to go into too much detail about all the filings and stuff. This is just one of a few I want to talk about this morning if we have time. So can we look at the chart? Do one of you two have that up?
Sure. Let's hit up that chart. Okay, going back earlier this year, between the beginning of the year up until just recently, the stock has held 0.1 as support level. And notice it bounced off of this 0.11 here, and right here it bounced off of the 0.1. Had a tough time getting above the 20-day moving average right here in the month of May and here recently in June. But if you notice, prior to that, it was above this 20-day and it held above it for quite some time. But then once it broke below the 20-day, you've seen a downward trend, and you've seen some big volume days here and there. And you notice on those big volume days there was some selling pressure and the stock had dropped, and it looks like it's starting to come back on light volume, so that's a good sign. I'd like to see it get above this 20-day and hold as support. Needs to break above this 20-day moving average, which is crucial. Currently, the 20-day moving average is at 0.125. Going down, looking at the RSI, you can tell that it's coming off of being oversold. It had bounced off of this oversold area once before, tried to come back up, but struggled. And we need to see this RSI get above the 50 line and the 50 overlay, which the 50 overlay is at the 50 line. You notice back here, it got above the 50 overlay, got above that 50 line. That's when you've seen the stock move from 0.16 to 0.45. It got up in that power zone. That's when you've seen the stock break out to 0.45. But since then, it's been on a decline. It tried to get above this 50 line back here, couldn't stay above it, so she broke down and lost its support. But now we're trying to recover, needs to get above that mark. Taking a look at the PPO, looks like you have a hint of convergence. This line is trying to hook up. I want to see this line continue to move north and cross. Like to see these cross over, and that would be a good indicator. But this PPO has a long way to go before it can get above that 50 overlay, and that'll be another good sign. So just something to keep in mind. We're looking for a cross here, and we're looking for the PPO to get above this 50 overlay. As for the slow stow, it's coming off of being oversold. We got the cross, so that looks good. Need to see this slow stow keep moving north, and always looking for it to get above the 50 overlay and the 50 line, so that'll show some strength. So right now the chart's looking decent, coming off of being oversold. Needs to get through the 20-day moving average here at 0.125 and hold as support. And then after that, the next key resistance range is going to be here at 0.176 and then 0.246, where you have all these other moving averages bunched up. You got the 50, the 200, and the 100 day all sitting around 0.24 to 0.256. So that's going to be a major resistance point here. once we can get above these next key resistances at the 20-day and 0176. All right, that's what I got for the chart. Why don't we click over to my scanner and see what we got coming off the scan tip. Okay, on the scanner this morning, we have a big gap up on Xstore Gold Mines. That's ticker symbol XG, and it's gapping up 53.38% this morning. And so far, it's traded over 830,000 shares. So keep an eye on ticker symbol XG. Arna, another little gap up. A great medical stock that we've been following into the anticipation of the FDA announcement. They're going to be announcing that FDA approval. I believe either they're going to get approved or they're going to get declined. And based on that decision is going to directly affect the stock price. If they get approved, you're going to see a large gap up. If you see them to get declined, you're going to see the stock tank. And that date is coming up towards the end of June. I believe it's June 27th when they're going to make that announcement. But as we called a few months back, this one was going to be a great one to follow up until that announcement. And we've seen some substantial gains over the past couple of weeks out of Arna, A-R-N-A. Okay, we got a gapper on Zanga, Z-N-G-A. It's up 2.5%. Last traded at $5.69. That's on over 300,000 shares traded. We also have a gap up on JRJC, China Finance Online. It's up 41% pre-market on 14,800 shares. ROSG, we've seen some moves out of that one in the past. That one's gapping up here 4.45%. And that's pretty much it that's standing out on the old scanner. Haas, do you have anything that's standing out as far as news this morning?
There's a couple of press releases. Nothing that I really want to go over that stood out significantly. There's a couple other stocks that I'm definitely keeping my eye on. Looks like BBDA might gap a little bit early on this morning. I think the spread is 0.01 on the bid right now. If I can pull that up and find my there we go. Yeah. And also, there is, I don't know, I've seen basically every promotional letter, some of the smaller ones on Apree. Have you been getting all those emails too?
Oh, yeah. She looks like a big gapper this morning.
She does.
It seems like everybody and their brother is on this one being paid for a promotion. A lot of paid groups out there. Just be careful. Because she's gapping up. Usually, as in the case on most gaps, you see them fill the gap. So if this thing gaps up, I believe she closed around 4 cents on Friday. And currently I see a spread of 5 by 7 cents. If she opens up at 5, 6, 7 cents, that's going to be a pretty substantial gap. So I'll be looking for a pullback and a bounce. That typically tends to be the scenario on these large gaps.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, I can go over a couple press releases, I guess. UBRG, Universal Bioenergy, put out some press this morning. Let's check that one out. This one's been trading around the penny market again here. Likes to bounce from here and make some runs. Universal Bioenergy Incorporated, a publicly traded, independent, diversified energy company that markets and distributes natural gas, propane, and coal, announced that NDR Energy Group, its subsidiary, has signed a contract to supply natural gas to one of the largest municipal water and power utilities in the nation. That could generate millions in revenues for the company. Looks like Universal Bioenergy did sales of over $71.74 million in 2011, so not shabby for a stock trading at 1 cent there by any means, and is rapidly growing at double-digit rates. NDR Energy Group markets and distributes natural gas and propane under contract to 29 of the largest public utilities, electric power producers, and local gas distribution companies that serve millions of commercial, industrial, residential customers throughout the country. So nice contract news there for Universal Bioenergy.
I wouldn't mind talking about the option ideas that we had last week.
Oh.
Last week we were talking about how Friday was quad witching day, and of course, I got taken to the cleaner. I'm just gonna admit it, folks. I was wrong. I was on the wrong side of the trade. You know what my fault was? I decided to leave the computer while trading options, and that's something that you don't want to do. If you're trading options, you really need to be watching these things. And I did something that I typically don't do. I used a stop loss order. Usually, I'm all about mental stops. And if I see a stock acting a certain way, I do the stop loss myself, and I place the trade and cut my losses. Well, Friday, I had lunch planned with my mom, decided to step away from the computer. I thought I would be safe and put a stop loss order in just in case the stock tanked. And sure enough, I put my stop loss order in. I went to lunch, and I couldn't even enjoy lunch because I was nervous that my stop loss order was going to get executed. And sure enough, they took the option down, executed my stop loss order, only for them to turn around and rally the stock up 150% from my stop loss. So took one right on the old chin, boom, right on the kisser, pow! And it hurt. But I learned a valuable, valuable lesson. And that's never am I going to leave my computer screen when I'm trading options, darn it. I was up in the beginning of the day. We were talking about the SPY calls, and I had gotten in the previous day at around 35, 40 cents. I ended up locking some profits in the first half an hour, which was great. Saw the pullback. I jumped in a little bit too early on that pullback, and then I put in this stop loss order. Had I had just waited, sat on the sidelines and been patient, waited for that dip, man, you would have made a cool 100% easy. And we were pounding the table on the SPY, folks. We were talking about it. It was as low as 42 cents, I believe, on Friday. Ended up closing over $1.20. And we were reminding folks that it's quad witching day, which means the contracts are going to expire, and you can't hold it. That's if you're playing the weekly call, by the way. And you can't hold it overnight. We said that, so we gave you the heads up. Lock your profits in before the end of the close. Sure enough, the SPY ripped and roared. You could have gotten in at 50 cents all day, 60 cents even, and sold it at $1.20 at the end of the day for a quick 100%. Now, on the flip side, I wanted to trade the OEX S&P 100. Siffy talked me out of it, which I'm going to always stick to my gut in the future. Not that I don't believe in Siffy, because most times he is right. And we're off. So, the day before, I was planning on entering OEX before the close on Thursday. Had I had done that, you could have gotten the calls for 60 cents. Friday, the OEX calls were over $3, folks. Yes, that's right. 3 or 4 bagger, no problem. On the OEX S&P 100, I believe at the time I was looking at the 610 calls. That's right. They were the 610 because the OEX was trading above 600. Just a couple of ideas out there, and the reason why I bring this up is because it's so important. I can't stress it enough to come up with a strategy, figure out a strategy that works best for you, and stick with it. Don't get all scattershot. Sometimes my ADHD really does me in because I have a tough time focusing on something, and I get all scatterbrained, and look what it cost me. It cost me a nice day of gains. So, you got something to add to that, Siffy?
You actually did everything right except giving up. Because let me say one thing to you, Sumo. That stop loss, yeah, it stopped you out. Trust me, that's what you want. period, the end. Without it, your odds of becoming a statistic and not hanging with the boys and trading are real good. That's all I gotta say. Don't give up, man. Do not give up. You work all day.
And you know what? I did.
You could have got back in cheaper than you got stopped out, brother.
I know I did. I gave up.
No. Enough said. Let's move on. What do we got, Haas? What's hot?
You're killing me, man. AGRT, we've talked about that one quite a bit on the show. Obviously, big promotion. This one's hot out of the gates this morning, up 25%, already 476,000 share volume. Putting out press out the butt to you, closed at 16 cents on Friday, opened up at 21, trading at about 20 right now. So it's actually a little bit of a gap and run down here, but high volume, probably some trade opportunities there today if you got your eyes on that one. TTDZ is another one I was actually going to talk about this morning. Just over 1 million shares in volume so far, but gradually more bid support moving in. Trying to form a support base around that 001 area later last week into early this week. This one's had some major runs as they've been putting out press related to some of the stuff that they have going on. We did a little mini spotlighted on it just a little while back, but I've been seeing it get a lot more chatter across the board. It's got a couple of messages on it, so I just wanted to give it another mention and encourage people to go do their due diligence on this one. I'm assuming that they've done some sort of dilution. We're seeing some higher share volumes with less price fluctuation than we have when we first started chatting about it and going over some of the information statements on pink sheets. But this company is quiet for a long time, and they've been releasing some pretty big news. They got a little spin-off. This is the company where we were talking about they had that subsidiary they were going to spin off onto the NASDAQ. So keep your eyes on that one. That one's getting a little bit of chatter, getting a couple hits so far this morning. BBDA, major gap this morning. Opened up at 001, closed at 0009 on Friday, forming some nice support here above 001 now. We got 2 million in support at 0012, 3 million support at 0011. Looks like 0012 by 0014 spread right now, up 22.2%. Last traded at 0011. Already almost 19 million shares in volume. I believe we called this one at like 0005 or 0006 just last Friday morning. So another big gainer. Obviously, this one was going to go with all the speculation and hype about it. Start tuning in, people. A-pre gapped big. I had a feeling it was going to be a gap and trap early this morning. Doesn't mean it can't run yet, but last traded at 5 cents, plus 25% so far. 355,000 shares in volume. This one, again, is being promoted by just about everybody and their mothers, as Sumo said, so be very, very careful if you plan to play it. They do have news pending regarding a pretty significant merger for the company, but that doesn't always translate into a positive share price direction. But congrats to those who were quietly loading last week on the rumors and hype, but we'll see what it does for the rest of the day here. Trying to hang around this mid-4 area right now. You got anything on your radar right out of the gate, Sumo?
Let's take a look at the good old scanner. Well, BBDA is definitely standing out. Best looking one on the scanner so far that I noticed, up 33% on 35 trades. BBDA last traded at 0012. When were you talking about that? Was it at Quad 5 last week?
Yeah, 555.
Oh, only up 150% from when Haas did his little mini spotlight. No, nothing to bat an eye at, or to raise a brow, or whatever else you want to call it. But folks, you need to be listening. You need to be tuning in. You need to be following our active tickers that we talk most about, and you will too see those profits like we see them. All right, that's about it on the old scanner. BBDA. And BBDA.
Rock on, man. TTDZ getting a few more hits now. It's getting some hits on the 0016. Current spread 0015 by 0016. Forming some higher supports here. Last trade 0016 up 23.1% now. Now we got over 2 million in volume. So this one's getting a few hits on the ass. Keep your eyes on it.
I have one that I've been watching closely, and it's because I'm a bag holder in it.
That's never a good way to start a little pick there.
I just figured I'd throw it out there because, look,
I'm a bag holder. Please buy my shares.
we don't pull any punches here, folks. We just tell it how it is, all right? And I bought this one a while back, INTK. So, yes, folks, for the record, I am a bag holder in it. However, it has been coming off of a recent bottom on very light volume, which leads me to believe that a recovery is in process. And I was taking a look at the chart this morning, and we're at a pretty key level here. It needs to get above the moving averages here. You got the 50 day, which is at 0291. And currently it's 029 by 0295. So we got to get above that 50-day moving average. I like the fact how the 100-day is starting to rise towards the 50-day. So if we can see that 100-day get above that 50-day, that could be a positive sign. I like the way that it's been making higher highs and higher lows off of a recent bottom. Just something to keep on your watch list as it comes off of its bottom. INTK.
Nice, man. We got a couple of promotion plays that are getting a little bit of action this morning. Ticker MIBI, MIBI. They also put out press this morning. Mobile Integrated Systems, over-the-counter QB company. 423,000 shares traded so far. Last traded at 35 cents, up 20.7%. Opened at 34 cents after closing at 29 cents on Friday. So a little bit of a gap, dipped down to 32 cents, and now it's working its way back up a little bit. 35.1 by 35.5 cents spread right now. Another one that I believe they put out press too, but it's not showing on the level 2 scanner for some reason. TLFX, Telefix Communications Holdings. I believe this one is also on promotion. Don't quote me on that. But 18.4% in the green right now. Last trade at 9.95 cents. 1.6 million in volume on this guy so far this morning. So very, very active. This one opened at 9.7 cents after closing at 8.4 on Friday. BBDA, nice support there on the 0012, about 4 million shares sitting there. Last trade at 001 Wes, we formed 0013 support for a couple million shares. Looks like about 7 to 8 million there on the ask at 0014, which is the high of day. A couple of smaller hits on there. But up 55.6%. 33 million shares traded so far today. So getting pretty active here on BBDA as people anticipate the big news supposedly coming this week.
Buy on rumor, sell on news.
Buy the rumor, sell the news.
I like to buy things when they're quiet and sell into the noise. Buy it when it's quiet and sell the sizzle.
Sell the sizzle. I like that. Sell the sizzle. I really like that, actually.
Can't believe you haven't heard that one before, bro.
Buy the sizzle. Sell the sizzle.
Sell the sizzle. Buy it when it's quiet and sell the sizzle. Sell the noise, baby.
Hey guys,
like,
how about this one? And I'm pretty sure you haven't talked about it. I'm probably wrong, but TLFX. It's at 11 times average daily volume.
Just talked about it 2 minutes ago, bro.
Damn, Hoss. This isn't even funny anymore, man. I'm actually.
I swear, you don't.
I'm actually trying to pay attention.
I'm sorry. What's the ticker symbol? Because I didn't catch it when Haas mentioned it. Haas, you don't miss much, bud. What is it?
TLFX.
Oh yeah. Yep. This one's on heavy promotion this morning. A lot of different groups covering it. It's been heavily promoted before in the past. Looks like there was some big resistance at 10 cents. It couldn't get over that. Support on the level 2 is showing at 9 cents. Needs to hold that support.
We love you, Sippy. Oh, knows if he's busy with his options trades and he pulls out the boom scanner and he sees all the ones that we're catching here. So it just confirms that we're all catching the same stuff. So pay attention. Genta Incorporated, ticker GNTA, getting pretty active this morning. They did put out some press. Last traded at 0012. 38 million shares traded so far. This one has made some major runs in the past. So it's kind of a lotto play, but they're also really good at dilution and reverse splits. So you just got to time it right. But Testataxel, I believe it's in phase 3 trials as a cancer treatment. So anytime you got a 001 stock with a cancer treatment in phase 3 trials, it's going to get pretty active around significant news updates. As long as they don't split on you or dilute the piss out of you, which this company's good at, both.
It's always easy to find stocks that are in an uptrend or moving up. That, you know, they hit the scanners or whatever. Why don't we take a look at some stocks that are on the flip side that are taking a bit of a dive? I just caught one, IDVC, this morning. It's down 25% on over 8 million in volume. Last traded at 002. IDVC, that's Indigo Denver Victor Charlie Infrastructure Developments Corp. Put that one on your watch list. What else we got taking a dive this morning? ATRN, Intrinsic Inc. ATRN was as low as 2 cents this morning. Boy, it hasn't been that low since we did the spotlight back in January. This thing is coming down to see some new lows here. It hasn't been this low in a while. It was down to 2 cents. It bounced back. It's currently 2.8 by 2.9. That's ATRN. And APRE gapped up this morning. It dipped, slightly filled the gap, and it bounced off 4.5 cents. Now it's currently 5 by 5.5 cents. That's the one that was been on that big promotion that we were talking about.
It's moving back up though. It's getting some nice hits on the ass there. And now we got a spread of 5 cents by 5.5 cents. It dipped as low as 4.51 cents after it opened up at 7 cents. So we'll see if it can keep trucking upwards here. This is a pretty thin share. They have been doing some dilution on some promotions over the past month or two here. So keep that in mind. There might be some paper out there, but yeah, I mean every promotional group, a lot of smaller promotional groups are on this one. So basically anything can happen, but still getting some decent hits on the ask and trying to move back up here. Good stuff.
Yeah, I'm digging the chart on IDVC. You have 2 out of the 3 indicators above the 50 overlay. Here, let me pull this up on my other computer for you guys so you guys can see what I'm talking about as I talk about it. IDVC. Okay, here's the chart on IDVC. And you can see it ran off of this low here of 0011 all the way as high as 007. And you're seeing some consolidation bouncing around here. It needs to hold this support at the low of 0011. That's going to be the support. The next level of support was 002, but she broke below that here this morning. Currently, IDVC is 0018 by 002, but you can see the nature of this stock. She likes to bounce around quite a bit, and that's why I've decided to point it out this morning. I like the way that the 20-day moving average is starting to come back up. We're starting to see some resistance against that 20-day. Notice last week she bounced off of it, couldn't get above it, struggling. This is a key resistance point. Needs to break above this 20-day moving average and hold as support, which is sitting at 0032. But like I was saying, these indicators, the RSI just fell below the 50 overlay. I want to see this one get back above the 50 overlay. You got the PPO that is above the 50 overlay. These lines just crossed, which is a negative. This is a bearish cross. This cross right here was the bullish cross, came to the upside. Now we're seeing a bearish cross. We want to see these lines come back around and cross again, and the blue bars on the histogram flip over. But the good thing is that the PPO is holding above the 50 overlay. We want to see it hold above that 50 overlay. And currently the slow stow just broke below the 50 overlay. So I'm seeing a lot of mixed feelings here on this chart. Need to see some of these indicators turn around. All right.
Sumo, that's so classic. I thought we started off looking at good indicators, and as you're going down the list, I'm going, wow, where's the good indicators, Sumo?
You don't know which way to go with this thing. But I'm telling you, I like the activity on the stock over the past few months. You know, if you time it right, you can play this for a nice bounce. And right now you're seeing it bounce back. Now the bid is 0021 by the offer of 0022. If you caught that low today in the 0016, 0017 range, you'd be up a nice little penny here. Nice pretty penny. Not a whole penny price per share wise, but 30-40% is nothing to bat an eye at.
Or raise a brow, right?
Yep.
All right.
Pretty still moving back up, trying to get a nice little bounce off those lows here, but not a huge fan of the spread. But as I mentioned, it is a pretty thin share, 5 cents by 6 cents right now. Getting some hits on the 6. Almost 1 million shares in volume so far. Looks like Arena Pharmaceuticals touched the $9 mark today.
Woohoo!
Don't want to brag, but told you to buy that fricker at $2. I think Siffy did. I think Siffy's the only one who listened to me. Good job, Siff.
Yeah, and I did exactly what we said to do the other day when it had that nice last pop. We took those profits at $2.50. She came all the way back down to $1.70. Hopped back in at $1.80, and now guess where she's at, boys? $2.90. Yeah, that's the Arna July 21st $7 call. Boom! Look at that chart. We just keep riding her higher, and come on, Arna, bring Brother Haas to Maui no Ka'oi.
Yeah, that's what I'm going for. I just want a Maui trip. That's all I want. I don't even care if the drug gets approved.
Well, yeah, but the approval is the ticket to paradise, and you know what the other side of paradise is?
Nah, screw that. I'll probably come out anyway. I'll just come out and frickin' surf with you anyways, man. You can laugh at me while I attempt to listen to your surfing instructions.
Paddle.
That's probably the hardest part is freaking getting out there to catch a wave.
Oh, without a doubt, man. You're gonna feel the burn like you've never felt before, real quick.
Sweet. I can handle it.
Muscles you never knew you had are gonna come into effect. But you're young and strong, so by the third day, you're pro. Then we'll start working on standing up.
I'll get out there. I'll be too tired to stand up and actually surf. I'll just be like, I'm just going in. I'm just going to ride the waves into shore. But yeah, I got hockey legs, but the arms probably need some work as far as paddling out into the part of the ocean where I can actually catch a wave.
Man, they're just hammering on Arna. Look at this thing. Beautiful. That is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, these bios like to get a life of their own. If this thing's not approved, it's going to be rough.
Well, see, okay, there we go, Haas. Let's think about this. If it's not improved and it drops like a rock, and we've been killing it on these calls, right? Killing it. The first time we jumped on these calls, it was trading around 80 cents. We flipped it at $1.70, hopped in again, flipped it at $2.50. We're on it again. Like I said, right now it just cracked $2.90. It's setting at $2.86 by $2.95. Let's look over here at the puts. All right, so on the puts here, what you got here, we're going to look at the same thing, July 21st, and let's say it doesn't get that approval, right, Haas? Where's she going,
Yep.
bro?
Right out
dollar?
the gates. Probably less.
Back to $2.
Okay.
No, lower $2, man. I wouldn't be surprised to see less than $1 briefly.
Okay, well, I'm looking here at the $4 put. It's 24 by 30 cents. You got 169 trades on it. Okay, or you could look at the $7 put. It's 98 by $1.03. Now let's think about this. If you picked it up right here at $1.03, okay, and then this thing sold down to, let's say, hypothetically, it goes to $1. How, Sumo? How much is that? How much is that thing worth now?
Holy cow. Okay. I would say
How many
it would
dollars
go
are
up.
we in the money?
Well, if it goes from, it's currently at 8, it goes to $1. That would be $7.
Well, it doesn't matter where it's at now. If you buy the $7 put and then before that expiration is up, this thing misses the approval and it goes to $1, you're in the money. What's this thing worth?
$8.
Probably around $8 because you're gonna be looking. You're $6 in the money. It could have a $2 premium on it, but you're worth at least $6, so you got a 5-bagger right there. So keep your
Very
eyes on
nice.
that, guys. It might be worth a speculation to see if
No,
they don't make it.
It's not that.
Might be a good way to play it. And you can see the $6 put has got a 3,099 total volume today. Every day, I'm sure they're kind of cracking some of these. That's people taking the lottery side. As where you can see people on the other side of the call, same thing. They're speculating all the way out to 14, 15 bucks.
IDVC, folks. I called it how I seen it because I liked what I was seeing, and now it looks even better. 0022 by 0025. It was at 002 when I spotted it out. This thing has a history of bouncing. Definitely want to keep this IDVC on watch. I like how she's responding this morning.
Trying to find a new one here for us, but looks like MWWC and ASYI, two of them that we talked a lot about with dilution, with significant news into the trips, getting a little bit of action, but nothing too significant quite yet. A couple you might want to check out though early in the week here. See what else we got here. Man, tough morning.
It's Monday, it tends to be a little slow kicking off the week. ATRN, I was talking about how this one has been coming off of lows here, and currently 0295 by 03 was as low as 2 cents this morning, so we've seen a 50% intraday gain on ATRN. Going to keep an eye on this one as it's been on a downtrend these past couple days, feeling out its bottom.
Man, Arna is just beasting, touching $9.10 now. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised to see $10 before that decision, but you just never know.
Leom, Leom, Leo Motors.
I saw that one hitting my radar too.
Yeah, it's hitting the scanner right now. It's 51 by 58, so you got a little bit of a spread there. 52 just hit the tape. Up 62%. Not sure what the deal is on that, if it's news or what, but you got anything on that one there, Haas?
Yeah, I'm searching. First thing I'm going to is DD Amanda, and I see
just went up on the ask.
last Friday they had a $120,000 day, up about 5 cents. Today they have what's the volume so far? Pretty close to 100,000.
75,000.
First inkling is some sort of either massive news or big promotion coming. Let's go check the news, see if they had anything to put out Friday, because it was really basically no volume before the last Friday. Let's see here. No, they put out an AK on June 6th apparently, but nothing before that.
Man, they are raising that ass quick, and that bid is not following it. So this is one to see what. When you look at something like this, let me ask you, Sumo, since you're the level 2 master, what is the first thing you think of? Obviously, you don't want to slap that ass, right?
Right.
So what do you think? What are you thinking here? You look at this 53 by 70. You got Merc sitting there, or MERQ.
Well, the first thing that I think of when I see a stock with a spread like that is, can I get any shares on the bid real fast and turn around and flip them on the offer? Because with a spread like that, if you're able to just trade in between the spread, you can make a nice, handsome profit.
Nice.
Nice with
I like
their
that.
website. It's in Chinese.
You say it's Chinese?
Yeah, I said I just went to their website and I can't read anything. I don't know if that's Chinese, to tell you the truth. It's something that I can't read. I'm guessing that it's some sort of reverse merger that happened recently with some foreign Asian company, Leo Motors. But the website looks pretty cool. I don't know exactly what they do because I can't freaking read it. But development and manufacturers of specialized electric vehicles. So electric vehicles. Yeah, they're in Korea, Republic of Korea, it looks like.
All right, guys, I just saw something on level 2 on ATRN that caught my eye. A bidder of 600 and something thousand shares just popped up at 3 cents. ATRN's showing some big support here. Just seen that big bidder pop up at 9.58. They clocked in. Huge size there on the bid of ATRN. Also, am noticing IDVC starting to bobble around here. Some big bidders showing up at 002. So ATRN and IDVC, two that I've been talking about this morning. I'm liking the level 2 activity and the chart setups on both of these plays. They're good bottom bouncers in my.
Nice, man. Well, all right, guys. What do you say we call it a morning?
Alrighty then.
Anybody opposed? Raise your hands now.
No, I think we did a fantastic job this morning. Caught a couple of nice plays here. It's a little bit slow start to the week. It's Monday. We're into summer nearly, so things are going to be slow for the next couple of months. But we'll still manage to find you some good winners like we have been. So keep tuning in. Be sure to check us out again tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And as always, we appreciate you following us and checking out the show. Stock Traders Talk Radio, and we're out.
Aloha.
Thank you for listening to Stock Traders Talk Radio. All views and topics talked about on Stock Traders Talk Radio is solely for entertainment purposes. We are not professional financial advisors and always recommend you seek the advice of a professional financial advisor. Never invest in any stock featured on our show unless you can afford to lose your entire investment. The information contained on our show is based on sources which we believe to be reliable, but is not guaranteed by us as being accurate, and might not be a complete statement or summary of the available data. Stock Traders Talk Radio advises that the investments in companies profiled are commonly considered to be high risk, and use of the information provided is at the investor's sole risk. Thank you for listening to Stock Traders Talk Radio.